Hello, my beautiful people. Welcome to Pure Wisdom Angel Weekly Divine. And it is I, this me, it's she, none other than Miss Pure Wisdom. I will bring you your reading for today, for this week, of the 21st. Today is May the 21st. So I'm going to bring your reading for you this week. Like we typically do, we're going to pull 3 cards. First card will represent the beginning of the week, which is Sunday, Monday, going into Tuesday. And then our second card will be for the middle of the week, which will be Wednesday, latter Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then our third and final card will be for the weekend, and that's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So while I'm shuffling my cards, I want to share an experience, right? I had this experience today. I went to church, and when I went to church, I am Pure Wisdom, and anyone that really comes in contact with me and have a personal experience with me understand the pure wisdom that is within me. Now, the physical flesh part of me is Shakita. This is Shakita. This is the physical flesh that you see, Shakita. But you know, pure wisdom is the channel that comes through Shakita. So the people at the church, I've been there quite a few times. I know the church members and the pastor and the deacons and ministers and everything. And when I was in the church, well, first of all, rewind. I wasn't going to go to church today. I wasn't going to go to church today, but God put it on my spirit to go because I was invited. And not only was I invited once, but I was invited about 2 or 3 times in 1 week. So I took that as a sign that it was meant for me to go. So when I went to the church, during the sermon, the minister, the associate pastor was preaching, and the associate pastor has sarcoidosis, so his lungs are basically, the medical report is basically saying he's dead, but he's walking by faith and by miracle, and by a higher power. So he would begin to speak, and when he began to speak, he had to stop in the middle of his sermon because he was kind of losing his breath. So I'm sitting in the pulpit, and mind you, this associate pastor is a very good friend of mine, and we actually had a conversation earlier this week, and he said to me, don't leave your discernment or your gift at the door. So it was laid on my spirit very heavy while I was in the church. First I went to his wife. And God put it in me to speak to his wife and tell her that she needed to go up there with her husband. They have an anointing. They have an anointing on their marriage, and there are many people that they are supposed to help and that they are on assignment on. So when I saw this man losing his breath in the middle of preaching his sermon, I began to immediately, speak to the higher powers of God, our universe, to give him the breath in the lungs that he needed to continue his sermon. But for whatever reason, he just could not continue to serve it, and God kept speaking to me to step up and share my testimony. And when I began to try, before I went up to the actual altar to try to share my testimony, I went to his spouse, and I advised his spouse to, go up there with him. God was speaking through me, telling her that she needed to be right there beside her spouse because, they are one, and their anointing is their marriage, them being as one. So she needed to go up there and be with her spouse. Well, she kind of shunned me a little bit, and she didn't want to go. So I took that and I went on. But long story short, I went up to the pastor. I asked the pastor, could I share my testimony? Because it was very obvious that the associate pastor couldn't even kind of continue on through his sermon because his breath was losing him. He had to catch the breathing in his lungs. So again, the pastor shunned me. Church. We all are perfectly imperfect people. So me, the Shakita that I was, for a split second, wanted to walk out the door. I didn't want to go in the beginning, but something said go. So I listened. I remained obedient. While I was in the process of doing my assignment, I was shunned. But my God told me, no, just be still. Share it. They need to hear it. Share it. So I went into a little prayer room and I stayed in that prayer room and I got down on my knees and I prayed and I prayed and I prayed. So finally, long story short, I ended up going to the altar. And I ended up going to the altar and I ended up sharing the message that God had. And the message was, you have to come out. Not only do you have to come out, but you have to be obedient. You can't be so fixated on the physical that you don't see the spiritual right in front of your eyes. Right? The spiritual was right there in front of them. There was the word that was needing to be poured into them, and they were still looking at this associate pastor that did not have a breath in his body. And I'm standing here and I'm trying to share, and they know how powerful I am, and they shunned me. But I remained still. I remained still because I knew that I was on assignment. So after I finished, I shared my story and I spoke to them, and I gave them what they needed. We all are perfectly imperfect people. And sometimes we allow our physical to let us get in sometimes our physical to get in the way of our anointing and get in the way of our walk in our path. Now, I shared my story. I did. I shared my testimony. I shared the message that our God universe wanted them to have, wanted them to receive. But just to be all the way honest, I don't even know if I'm going back to the church. Why? Because even inside of the church where you're supposed to be able to come and be as yourself and share what you are, you become shunned. You become judged. For a moment in your physical, that was a sign I didn't need to be there. Because wherever I go, wherever I feel that I need to be, I will not be pushed away. Jesus was pushed away, but he continued to speak his word. And I'm going to continue to speak mine too. But not where I am shunned. Because if only for a second that you listen to your spiritual, when you're in the house of your divine leader and your divine master, you're supposed to be away from flesh. Because that's what you come there for, to be fed. But for that one time, they allowed the physical flesh to get in the way. And that wasn't, I gave the message that was needed, but that was also my confirmation that was not where I need to be. Because wherever I need to be, I will be able to shine. I will be able to share God's word and God's message. I wish them nothing but the best on their journey. But that story is just a significance of how we, including myself, consistently allow our physical to get in the way of our spiritual, to get in the way of our walk, our assignment, our anointing. So I say all that to you before I even start my reading for the week. Walk in your anointing. Don't worry about being judged. Don't worry about being shunned. You will have your assignments. Follow through and keep moving. Because not one person, not one temple, not one man can slow you down, can stop you from your divine purpose. Now, let's go into our reading for this week. I've been shuffling the cards while I've been speaking and I've been sharing, and I'm going to pull our first card for this week, which is oh my gosh, I so love my connection is getting stronger and stronger and stronger, and it's just beyond myself because I removed my physical. Again, I removed my physical. But the first card is Awakening, and it's Archangel Gabriel, and it states that this is for the beginning of the week. It states that there's a need to look at things from a different perspective. There is a temporary standstill, and most importantly, It's time to be yourself. Archangel Gabriel. I always love our angels because our angels come to bless us with their presence, to let us know that they're with us and they're guiding us. And this is just a beautiful card. But the message that I get with this card for the beginning of the week is it is time to switch gears. It is time to switch gears. Whatever in your plan or in your goals that has a leak or a hole in it, it is time to fill it in. It's time to fill it in. It's time to fill those holes in. And there may be a temporary standstill because there were holes in your plan and things were leaking out, seeping out, but you weren't understanding why things wasn't connecting and why they wasn't coming together. Well, those holes. You got to take care of those holes. Fix those holes. And while you're fixing your holes, be your creative and authentic self. Allow the things from within inside of you to come up and come out. Listen to the nudgings, the inklings, the promptings, the signs, the signals within you on what you should do next. So know that the beginning of the week is about closing those holes, patching them up, closing them up, and keep it moving. Because something in the goal, something in the plan and desires had some fault. I will say it had some fault to it. And it's time to reshift and look at it from a more righteous standpoint. So that's the beginning of our week. And then we're going to go to the middle. The middle is late Tuesday, Wednesday, and a Thursday. This card keep coming, so I'm going to get it. Like it just popped out 2 times at me, so I'm going to receive that one. This is what you're supposed to have. This card is for the middle of the week, which is the 10 of Earth. And it states that there is a very happy family life, financial security, finding magic in the little things. This is the card. I love it. I love it. I love it. And what comes is very self-explanatory. While you're doing the work, while you're patching the holes, beginning of the week, you will begin to explore, appreciate, and actually see how rewarding your family life is. You can't put the holes together without your support system. You know, you can't have the balance to be able to see clearly to close those holes back up so they won't be able to leak again. You just know that your family life is important. Your family is there to support you. There is security. Know that you are guided. Know that you are supported, you know, and all of your financial and material needs will be met as you need them. You might not have it when you want them, but you will most importantly receive them when you need them. So have no worries. All is well. You know, just focus on repairing those holes and paying attention and being appreciative to the family and the support that you do have in your life, whoever that may be. That's the middle of the week. And then we have the weekend. Weekend, baby. Baby, is the weekend. I'm not sure what I'm going to do next weekend. I think I want to go out of town. But either way, no. Just approach it as it needs to be. Our third and final card for the weekend is tens. 10 of air. It states that there is an end of a difficult situation. Embrace the change and expect things to get better now. Recovering from an addiction. This is our third card. It's pretty. I love the horses. I love horses. But what comes to me is just, it all ties in this week. You're working, you're patching the holes, and you're enjoying your family life and the support that you have. And, you know, being grateful for the blessings that, you know, your God of the universe has brought into your life. And at the end of the weekend, it is really time to just let your hair down. You did the work. You know, there is no more difficulty. Things will become so much more clearer. Your plans will begin to just come together. All of your dots will just magnetically just connect to themselves. You really don't have to even do anything. There is no effort on your part at all. Just being in divine flow with yourself. Any addictions that you may have, this weekend is a good time to let it go. Let it go regardless if that's a shopping addiction, an alcohol addiction, a drug addiction, you know, any type of addiction. Whether you're addicted to food, whatever it is. This weekend, if you've been thinking about it, this weekend is a great time to start the process of recovering from an addiction. So that is your angel message for this week. I wish you guys much love, success, abundance, prosperity, protection, and wealth on the rest of your week. Most importantly, love and light. Until next time, angels, you guys be blessed.